Hey, I'm on the edge of my seat here, back again with another brand new video, and today we will be no-damaging specifically the PS4 version of Minecraft, and only the trial run. This is going to be a test run for future Minecraft no-damages. This is the first that will be happening on the channel, and you may be asking, why exactly is my mic not up to snuff? Well, I've run into a very specific issue. I've actually accidentally entered an authorization zone. Now what this means is that certain technologies within this zone just simply turn off because the government is conducting certain tests with some of their other technologies. So my mic isn't usually like a threat to national security, but if someone else is using a better mic in the US Navy at that particular point, then they have to shut down my mic through GPS signals. So right now I'm going to have to use this mic, or else this video will take about 3 more weeks to come out. I've run into a very specific situation that I cannot disclose at this moment. But for right now, this game, the trial run of Minecraft, is very interesting because it doesn't exactly start off like your standard game of Minecraft. Because usually when you start the game, you have nothing. But the trial run tries to kind of play with your perceptions of reality by giving you something at the very beginning. You don't know why those items are there or how exactly to use them in that particular moment, but it's kind of a little bit of a test run to see if you can manage learning all the inventory and the vocabulary. So really, you do not want to run a trial run unless you've already played the game and are familiar with its many systems and mechanics, because if you try to go at this from kind of a newbie standpoint, you're probably going to die and take damage, which I will not be doing in this run. And it is also a bit of a speed run because typically these sort of things can take like an hour or 2 hours because of the weather and time of day schedules. But I kind of have a bit of a biological way to advance some of these weather like cycles without sleep. That's the one thing. I will not be using a bed in this video. I actually have another way to skip day and night using a more biological means, which I don't want to spoil right now. And you may have noticed, but this is actually a new texture pack. And it's because when you usually play with the same texture pack, some things become a little monotonous. So I decided to kind of mix it up. And now we have these empañadas. Like, I don't know exactly why I'm realizing this now, but like, is the music just mixed like way too loud in the PS4 version specifically of Minecraft? Or is that just a Minecraft thing? 'Cause I mean, I've played Minecraft, but I'm not a Minecraft expert. But like, this music like does not feel authorized. Like, this is like way too much, because like I'm trying to hear like the sounds of like me digging or walking around. Like, they're way softer than like the actual music. And hey, I could always turn off the music, but like, I don't know, I feel like at that point, are you really playing the game as the way it was crafted? I don't know, because like sometimes with difficulty, you know, you can turn off certain like HUD markers or things like that, but it gets a little complicated. That's something which I'm going to get more in depth with my Thief no damages. I will be no damaging the Thief series at some point with a lot of sheathing gameplay. And in Minecraft, okay, I'm not even sure if you can sheath in Minecraft. Not exactly stealth, but sheath. Can you like sheath a weapon? I mean, I guess the one way you could do it is by not having it selected, but can you select the weapon and sheath it? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of Minecraft tech that still escapes me. There's a lot of speedrunners, which I have not fully studied yet. And here it's going to become nighttime, and this new texture pack actually makes it a little harder to navigate at night because the colors don't really mix well with the nighttime setting. It's actually a psychological trick once again. This may actually be another aspect of the trial run in order to confuse you. For example, putting the map in this specific position so that you can't see where you are. It's a psychological trick in order to kind of fool you. And by the way, when you start this trial run, you already have American cities run by the clock. This is truest of the largest and busiest, where the minute hand impales people through their routines without room for pause. The sleep-demolishing clatter of a 5 a.m. trash pickup, a break-up dash to the subway, back-to-back conferences noted in a desk planner, business luncheons, happy hours, and more computer sprints. These are distance markers on the constricted urban fast track, a daily marathon of appointments and schedules where it is only an apparent contradiction to say even the most unpredictable can occur. It was largely because of its precise adherence to schedule, its tidal inflow and outflow of humanity, that the New York Stock Exchange was chosen to be ground zero for the northeastern seaboard of the United States, the epicenter of an explosion that would neither heard nor felt by the thousands of souls it overtook, yet was potentially more catastrophic than a full-scale nuclear assault. Inconspicuous as the weapon he was carrying, The man in the dark blue suit walked past the statue of George Washington in Federal Plaza to the impressive Greek Revival building on Wall Street amidst a swarm of traders and clerks eager to make the opening bell. A tobacco-leathered briefcase in his right hand, he climbed the broad outer stairs, passed under the stone penitum with its sculpted gods of finance and invention, and strode through the entrance onto the main trading floor. Once inside, he continued moving with the flood of conservatively dressed men and women as they pushed towards the brokish booths, the trading posts, and the banks of phone and video monitors that linked the exchange to the national and foreign market networks. Scanning the room, he discovered an unoccupied phone stall, jolted towards it, and placed his briefcase on the floor near his feet, and lifted the receiver. His hand on the hook, he randomly keyed in a number and pretended to make a call. He would stand there waiting until the time was right. A few moments later, the bell rang out from the platform, and the nation's most powerful engine of commerce jolted into high gear. The buzz of voices around him became an enthusiastic clamor. The out-loud cries of stock auctioneers carrying up to the vaulted ceiling, tantalizing their bidders like bright flashes of gold and precious gems. He felt sure that no one was paying attention to him. He was invisible in his conformity. To all eyes, just other security professionals touching base with his office, as the early quotes hit the board. The silent phone cradled between his chin and shoulder. He leaned down and pushed a catch between one of the briefcase combination locks. The latch did not snap open, nor had that been his intent. Still bent over the case, he heard a loud sound issue from its side panel. Sssss, like a venomous snake. The device was patterned after the modified attaché cases once found by authorities in the compound of Japanese terrorists. The same extremist cults responsible for the 1995 Tokyo subway attack that killed a dozen riders and left over 5,000 people grieving. Like the alms delivery system, it has been contrived from a small astral canister, a battery-operated handheld fan, and a nozzle running to a camouflaged vent in the shell of the briefcase. His single improvement to their original design was the lock catch triggering mechanism, which eliminated any need to raise the lid and reduced his chances of drawing unwanted attention. Lifting his case, the man in the dark blue suit hung up the receiver and stepped back into the crowd. Someone immediately shouldered past to take his place at the phone, scarcely noticing him. Good, he thought. In the general commotion, the expulsion of Asriel couldn't be heard. He had only to wind his way around the room a bit, ensuring the agent was spread throughout, and his job here would be finished. His targets would do the rest with their scrambling between appointments, their 5 o'clock cocktail gatherings, their clothes-packed bodies on hometown brains and buses, mingling with co-workers, casual acquaintances, and friends, kissing their wives and hugging their children, going around and around in relentless, cynical patterns of high-speed movement. They would very effectively do the rest. Soon he left the exchange and turned onto Broad Street, the canister in his briefcase emptied of its unforeseen contents. In his mind, he could still hear the noise from the vents. Sssss. The memory raised the hairs at the back of his neck. He'd been guaranteed there was nothing to worry about, and the assignment had been paid handsomely enough to help compensate for any lingering anxiety. Still, he was glad to be outside the building, and he welcomed even the thick, unseemly warm air of Manhattan in fall, knowing he hasn't really left anything behind. Not anything that couldn't follow him. From what he had released wasn't already out there on the street. It would be. Soon enough, it would be everywhere. The air tractor AT-802 turboprop is a mainstay of the agricultural aviation industry and a common sight in the sky above Central Florida, a region that accounts for almost 70% of the nation's total citrus production. Aboard the plane is an 800-gallon hopper that may contain any of a wide range of fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides. Pumps between the fuel gauge drive the chemical from the hopper into wing-mounted booms equipped with either special nozzles, in the case of liquids or spreaders, in the case of solids for spray. On this particular morning, an AT-802 launched from a grass airstrip west of Claremont for a spray run with something worlds removed from the products normally used by AG pilots. To prevent its degradation in storage, the material had been lycroside, or freeze-dried, as you can say, into an ultra-fine, wisted powder that resembled confetti to the naked eye. The particles were then embedded into tiny granule spheres composed of biodegradable organic compounds, increasing their stability and ensuring a controlled and uniform rate of release. Perfectly smooth and free-flowing, the microcasals rolled virtuously, without friction, and would not acquire electromagnetic charges that might make them cling to objects which they might be aligned to. Its manufacturer had wanted only the best and obtained it at the cost of millions, knowing his clients would find the product irresistible and confident of an impressive return on his investment. The crop duster banked to the southwest now, maintaining a low attitude, flying above the wind. At his control, its pilot could see the trees spread out between him, row after row, seeming the fields to the extreme limit of his vision, their heavy green crowns jeweled with orange and yellow fruit that would soon be harvested, packed, and shipped from coast to coast. On his panel were state-of-the-art GPS displays. According to the instructions, a metro inversion had kept a band of cool air close to the ground today. Ideal weather because it would prevent the powder from drifting off target with warmer, rising air currents. Number 5. He buzzed over the groves, once, twice, and again. A vaporous wharf trailing from his wings, which each deliberate pass, the aerosol hung in the blue, billowed in the blue, marked the blue with wide, white, parallel stripes that gradually scattered and bled into a light, milky haze. Then, gently, softly, it settled to earth. A Boeing 747 wide-bodied jumbo jet can carry over 400 passengers on an international trip, setting as many as 10 abreast, far exceeding the capacity of other commercial airlines. For Steve Whiteboard, this has been so much a mixed blessing that he found himself happily awaiting his layover as his taxi taxied to a halt in Sydney. While he has gotten the last available booking on that flight at the very last possible minute, and suppose he should have been able to be too thankful for the seat, Steve had little doubt the plane would have burst open like an oven-toasted turkey that had tried squeezing a little bit of an additional body aboard. A spindly 6'4", with most of the being told Minecraft. More discussion had followed across a range of subjects. How was the Sword hiring drives in India going? In South Africa? Where were they in terms of testing that new firearm developed by non-lethal weapons divisions? The implementation of in-rate software's upgrades? What about those negotiations with Poland? And the possible ramifications of the sudden death of Spider-Man Bolivian president Alberto Colón. The tragedy of it went beyond his youth, his humanitarian values and great responsibility to the mini cartels that promised to spark a regional trend and lead to preliminary talks with the President of the United States, Colón. And so on and so forth. At noon, they broke for a lunch of cold pouch sandwiches with hollandaise and cats. It was not by chance that they had waited until their meal to bring up the previous spring's sabotage of a NASA space shuttle carrying uplink orbital technology and Sword's presumably connected encounters with paid terrorists in South Brazil and Dream, the nasty affair to which Skull had alluded. A number of micro-bisexuals. But yeah, no, the glitch I'm referring to, the kind of biological glitch, I actually can't specifically do it in this video, but I can inform you about half the plan. You're going to need a lot of glass for this biological glitch because while the glass may come from sand, the sand in this specific texture pack isn't biological. So the biological strat involves using something that is unbiological, which I'm not even sure if there's a word for that, like artificial. Because, you know, there's also the SpongeBob, like, burger gummies. Those are not real burgers. There are very artificial gummies made from plastic and styrofoam. But are even real burgers natural? Because some of the beef used in certain burgers may actually come from the same materials used to make the SpongeBob Krabby Patty gummies. And even in this texture pack, look at that glass. That doesn't look like glass at all. It looks like strands of cinnamon airhead extremes. You ever had an airstream extreme in this day? That's not how you pronounce it, but they're terrible. It's horrible. Imagine putting cinnamon on that. You could kill a child with that. And here we have an empanada lara over there. Very nice. We love to see those. We have killed a few, and I do regret a few murders because, frankly, killing the pigs here is more efficient, and they do give more health than the piñata ladas. And there, we have a bit of an issue with the furnace, but with this glass and this sort of structure, we're going to be able to reach a glitch much faster than you normally would on like a normal run. Even on certain speed runs, I'm even doing this specific thing a little faster than most speed runs. And yeah, I think we're reaching the end of the video here. Thank you so much for watching my Minecraft trial run PS4 no damage. My advice would be, this sword is so cool in the PS4 version with this specific texture pack with Super Meat Boy in the front cover. But yeah, no, thank you so much for watching, and don't try this at home. It's very dangerous. You could cause a gas leak in your house. So yep, I'll see you all then.